Hello, everyone. I believe we are live now. Let me have a quick look. Yes, it looks like we're live. So, welcome again to another show from Investing with the Difference. So, we had been pretty busy. As you can see, we uploaded quite a few videos, a lot of information. The good thing is, EOS is really moving fast. A lot of good stuff is happening, apps are coming, and we have new airdrops starting. So, that's what we wanted to share. And now we are looking for, if you are joining us here, please ask questions if you are still not understanding what's going on. And that's the focus of our show. But before we start, of course, the Bitcoin has been at its volatile best, as it had really settled into more of a small range for a long time in last few days. And what happened yesterday, we already did a video on that when there was some sort of manipulation, a big jump in price, and then of course, as you know, that SEC has rejected some of the ETFs. Remember, there are like at least 10 or 15 ETFs which are being proposed. The biggest one is CBOE. That is still not decided. That's sometime in September, I believe. That's the timeline for SEC. I never had any hopes for these ETFs. And in fact, as I talked about in the video which we did on the BitMEX manipulation, I did talk about whether these are anyway healthy. And I don't think Bitcoin needs ETF. People are too fixated upon the ETFs because, of course, that brings in fresh money and it gives you a price bump. People are always worried about short term, while definitely it's not a great thing for the ecosystem. So we did talk about it. So do watch that video and understand and ask yourself whether you are really looking for short-term gains or you're looking for a sustainable fresh money coming into Bitcoin. And that takes time. I think patience will pay. And now it's kind of stabilizing. Technically, I think the good thing is, with all the negative news flow in last 12 or 244 24 hours, we did not see a bigger fall. And in fact, it is recovering. So that's a good sign. I believe there are people who are coming in at these levels again. And as I have been telling for a very long time, for almost 2 to 3 weeks, that this is a great accumulation zone, and it's not a bad price to enter Bitcoin. And same thing goes for EOS, and I think EOS is around settling around $5, between $4.50 and $5.50. So I think it's a great price for a project which is really making a lot of progress. So let's get going. I don't know how many people are there, so I see 17 people watching. So please, if you have any question, you can add in the comments section, in the chat section in YouTube, and we will start taking your questions. So the most exciting thing I think we are talking about is EOS Nights. So this is a pretty good app. So we have been experimenting with it. So as you can see, this is a live playback of what's going on. It's a pretty good, like originally, I think I was not very excited to see their UI. And this was like a very basic stuff where their knights are fighting the goblins. But then I realized it's more about the collectibles. And if you see, they have this materials and the items and these collectibles which give you power for your knights. So this is like a more of a using the token economics, where they are trying to create this kind of a buying and selling market for collectibles. It's a pretty nice concept. I think it's a good playable game, and I see that a lot of people are hooked onto it. If you see, if you go to the marketplace, a lot of people are playing it. So that's if you go here, you see there are almost if you clear out all the material, and if you say all grades, people are selling like so many units. So this it's becoming popular, it looks like. Of course, this is produced by one of the Korean block producer candidate, EOS, which I think they are. It's becoming mostly a Korean participation right now, but I hope a lot more people try it. By the way, if you have observed that my YouTube is showing Korea, because I'm right now, this week, I'm traveling here and meeting some great EOS community here. In fact, I'm meeting up with quite a few block producers. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about. In terms of proxy, we are doing a lot of stuff. So as you know, so I have sorted all the proxies with number of proxied account. As you can see, we are way ahead of anybody else, and we have now 912 accounts who are proxying with us. We are almost touching a million EOS. I keep repeating that if you can do your own research, we do recommend you to go vote for yourself. Because our goal is not to become a huge proxy. Our goal is to educate people so that they can vote for themselves. But what I'm trying to highlight here is that because anyway we have become a big proxy, so we are trying to do more work. So what I realized is while we are very much connected on English speaking channels, we are not seeing what's really happening in the regional domains. So if you remember, in early days when we used to do videos, when we had not even launched mainnet, we used to see how big Korea is on EOS, and we have so many people who are buying in Korea like EOS, and they are still, I think, a huge community here. And I'm spending some time here this week and meeting up with blog producers, and we will soon start interacting with more and more people globally. And that's one thing we are doing as a proxy. Other initiatives we are taking is we have already talked about in one of the videos. We talked about the proxy decay, and if you go back to our all the videos, you can see we talked about the EOS community appeal we did. We are going to use the referendum system to go and propose this change so that BPs can vote on it, and first of all the community can vote on it and whether agree or disagree with us. The second part is I also have been discussing with the EOS authority on this tool, the vote decay tool, to add this particular alert whenever there is a vote decay, just like we get EOS email alerts for every transaction. So I have requested them, and I was talking to Rohan about this, and hopefully they will be able to come up with the integration of this tool where the voting decay is notified to people. So our goal is to keep improving the voting system, have seeing more and more people participating in voting. That is one of the things we are really taking as a big action within investing with a difference. The second part, of course, we continue bridging gaps between communities, and these are some of the initiatives I wanted to highlight as we are doing as one of the biggest proxy in EOS and strengthening EOS. Now, as an action from you, if you are proxying with us, please make sure you're staking your tokens. And we did do a video on staking very recently, I think last few hours. We showed you how to stake, unstake, and some of the key aspects. Do watch it if you still, because there are a lot of new things we are learning. One of the key things we are learning is you want to stake more and more to CPU. The second part we are learning is that you do not, so for example, as you can see here, the CPU utilization is usually more. And also we explained what refunding is, and you may not be able to move net to CPU within a single day. You need 3 days of wait period. First, you need to unstake and then move to staking to CPU. So do watch that video. It's a very short 5-minute video we did on some interesting facts about staking and unstaking. Finally, there's a lot of air grabs going on, and Tribe, which is kind of a very interesting project. So this is something I've already highlighted. We also created an account. So they are actually trying to create a Steemit kind of a blogging site for the community, but this is much more like controlled and kind of they are trying to moderate it so it doesn't get automatically approved. They are right now, they are going in a beta mode where every article is approved by the people over there. So I don't know how this will pan out, whether they're going to make it fully contribution based or they want to keep controlling the inputs on the quality wise. But overall, it's a great concept. I like the interface, and do participate in it, because right now they are giving free tokens for signing up. And as I mentioned in the video on the air grabs, they are not giving free air because it's a contribution based and a participation based dApp. They are not giving Genesis snapshot based tokens. They are asking you to sign up and participate, and that's how you earn tokens, and that's how you are going to air grab them. So these are some of the things which we covered in last few days. I hope that people are following these, because a lot of actionable items. Do watch this air grab video for various other tokens. So Riddle, which is a scatter reputation based system, a great project. Then there's a Wiz token that is also, they're trying to create an ecosystem on EOS, which is more of a social ecosystem. They are also doing air grab. So do grab your tokens. And again, as I highlighted, so you need to buy some RAM because as this air grab model becomes more and more popular, you will need more RAM, and RAM prices are not very bad. So let's go and see. Okay, let me open up blocks.io. I think they have on their front page the RAM prices. So right now RAM is kind of 0.55 USD per kilobyte. I would say it's a good time to have some RAM for your personal use. I'm not asking you to speculate. I'm asking you to at least have 8 to 10 kilobyte of RAM per account, because if you want to participate in future airdrops, it's worth it to have some RAM, because you will be using your own RAM. And that is how you're going to be owning more and more airdrops. So let's say if there are 100 tokens, you may need like 100 byte for each. I'm talking about around 10 kilobyte or so RAM, which will be needed by everybody. So I would say, in fact, everybody should have more than 10 kilobyte, maybe 20 kilobyte of RAM. That should be a safe place where you can say that you can air grab any tokens coming in future. So that is very interesting. So let me see if there are any questions. Do anonymous block producers in top 21 add decentralization to EOS? I don't know if anonymity is important. I think geographical diversity is one thing. So let's go back and look at the block producers themselves. Now, anonymity is it can be debated. So I'm not ruling out anything. But how do you make sure those anonymous block producers are not the bad elements, or they are not in there only for profit or trying to harm the system? So you cannot, means, how will you define that anonymous block producer? And if you are selecting those anonymous block producer by a centralized authority, that becomes a questionable thing in itself, whether it's a decentralized ecosystem. Because if block.one adds some anonymous block producers, then those are centralized entities. If they are, you cannot just randomly have some block producers join without disclosing who they are, what they're trying to do, without harming the system. So I'm not sure what you mean by this. If there is a discussion going on around anonymous block producers, I'm not very comfortable with that. Okay, so what else? Let's take more questions. So we say, I find that I need to stake at least 10 CPU staked to do basic things like vote. This isn't even enough. How will BPs solve this problem? So, Sammy, I think I don't think you need 10 EOS to stake for voting, because if you see, go back to our account, we have been voting almost every week, and we had originally we had much lesser tokens, but 22 tokens, and we are doing a lot of experiments with EOS. With this account, we are actually playing EOS nights very heavily. We are doing maybe hundreds of transactions every hour, and still we are consuming only 11% of CPU with the 22 staked. So I understand sometimes the CPU becomes very expensive, and that is when there are a lot of spam transactions, when there are a lot of other transactions which are in the system, and that may have caused the CPU to spike. And remember, these CPU gets refreshed every day. You will, if you are not using the system, it will refresh it, it goes down. The second part is voting wise, I don't think you need to vote every day, so you have to vote once in a week to keep it really 0% decay. And so I don't see that an issue at all. So let me know, maybe you are referring to something else, but I don't see that you need 10 EOS to just to vote. I do not agree with that. What else, guys? So I think we have quite a few people watching now. So if you have any other questions, do let us know. And as I mentioned, we are continuously looking to add value as a proxy to try to find out the best way to block produce. So the next thing which we are going to participate in, of course, is an initiative by EOS Alliance. So there is going to be Constitution referendum series. What they're trying to do is they're trying to create discussion groups for what is going to be the new constitution. Personally, I like the idea. I hope that more and more people participate. Now, my concern is twofold. One is that there are two versions right now, which is the current version of the constitution, and then there is a Dan Larimer version, which is called version 2. So it's good that these are being debated. I hope that we will break it down further, because when you talk about version 2, there are like a lot of changes being proposed, and I hope that at some point people will look at debating individual articles in this constitution, and maybe find a middle ground, because not everything is acceptable by everyone. And now the referendum itself, I still need to understand what are going to be the thresholds, like how much voting is needed to pass a constitution. And of course, you need to understand, even after referendum, if one of the constitution is selected by voters, then still to get it into effect, the block producers have to vote and agree, because ultimately block producers are running this show and they need to go and approve every change to the system. But I think referendum is a good way. It's going to get everybody's voice, and this is what they are trying to figure out. So I think what the good thing is, so they answered my question when we talked about this. So winning constitution is the first to receive 15% token holder vote, and that vote should stay for 30 days within a 120-day window. So that's how the new constitution will be selected. So I think EOS Alliance at least is doing a good job of putting all the information at one place, creating a forum. So as I said, I was very excited about EOS Alliance, and when they announced it, I'm glad that they're right now they're doing the things which are needed. And of course, we have to keep watching. We don't take anything for granted. That's how you keep a system fair. And let us see how this goes. But it's a great initiative, and we will try to see. I think we are trying to see if we can telecast some of these conferences they are doing online on our channel, and we will let you know if we are able to do that. But overall, we will definitely debate what is the outcome of these working groups and how this goes forward. And we are going to be very, very actively involved, because that's what building community is all about. All right, so have you seen anything about EOS Links mobile wallet? The app was created by EOS Block Producer Alliance. I'm not sure it was created by EOS Block Producer Alliance. It was created by a few block producers. Let's not use the word alliance, because now with EOS Alliance coming into picture, the EOS Alliance means something very specific, which is this group. Now, yes, some of the block producers did EOS Links. So let me see if I can search that quickly, and we can have a look. EOS Links. We did have a look. I think we talked about this in some of our videos, and also on our Telegram channel. So we really like EOS Links for two reasons. I think one is that EOS Links is providing accounts for cheap, like 99-cent account. Plus, it's a mobile wallet, which is good because we do want more and more adoption. Okay, so this is the older post. So let me see if I can load their website. So you should try it. I think we need to still figure out if more and more block producers, independent block producers. So I think right now this is developed by, I believe, some of these block producing members. But I need more third-party verifications, security audits to say that you should move your tokens here. But you should, if you're creating a new account, do experiment. The more exciting thing, I think, which will be available soon is the Scatter mobile extensions. So right now, as you know, that we do a lot of Scatter-based apps. For example, EOS Nights, you're logging in with Scatter. So if you see this particular app or any other app which you are using, you are using Scatter, because we don't want to enter our private keys into every app. You should be able to use your EOS account across the various dApps by a centralized trusted entity like Scatter, where you already created, and they are sending your encrypted keys. You're not every time risking your keys. And that is how I see it working. Right now, I don't see Links providing that. It's a very basic wallet. Yes, it's a great wallet for sending and receiving EOS. Then there are two things I would like to see in the mobile wallet is a ability to go and validate the dApps so that you can interact with blockchain, because that's the usability of a wallet. And that's why I think Scatter is one of the most successful wallet, and we want that kind of applications on mobile, and so that we can have more apps coming. What else, guys? So hello, do we know when Rex is available? So Rex is going to be, as I talked about in early days when the Rex proposal was being discussed. So there are multiple steps for Rex to be available. First of all, I think it's in very early stage of definition. I think Dan Larimer is still working on the code changes. Once the code changes are done, they have to be either go through a referendum process, or block producers have to directly take it up for voting. Either way, I think now that we have this more and more discussions, more and more EOS things forming like EOS Alliance, I don't know how that will play out, but ultimately it's going to be a long process. I don't think it's happening in a hurry, because these are big code changes. You're talking about changing the whole system contract, how the token economics work. So it takes time to make such big software changes. It takes time to implement them, to test them, and then finally somebody has to review. Because we don't want, it's a very, very healthily running system right now. So you remember, ultimately it's a blockchain. We have 12 million, 12.5 million blocks which are already mined. We have a lot of good stuff happening, new apps coming. While everybody's waiting for Rex, we do not want to mess up in a hurry. And that's what I rely on. I think Block.one and Dan Larimer's team are pretty competent. So I'm sure they will make sure these kind of things happen. But even then, I think there are always some security issues which keep coming in a software. So I think that is something which needs to really be looked into. So these are my views on when the Rex will be available. So as I said, of course, the best person to know will be Block.one, like Dan Larimer himself. So if anybody has seen any inputs from him on Telegram channels, of course, we are limited people, so we cannot track everything on all the channels. So if one of the community members has more information, let us know. But I think the next step is for Block.one to release this software changes. You can also track it on GitHub, actually. You can go look at what is the status of that. If you are familiar with GitHub tracking, I think a lot of people do that. So that is one way to know when it will come, but I don't expect it to come in a hurry. All right, so what other questions you have? So again, coming back to the voting and the proxy part, again, I will keep reminding you, please stake your tokens. If you're buying more tokens because the price is cheap, and as you see that EOS adoption is slowly gaining pace, so I'm assuming that you're going to be buying more tokens, then remember to stake them, because when you buy and move them out from exchanges, you do not get any weightage. Like, you need to get them to staked state to really affect the voting. The second part is all these new airdrops like Tribe, and I talked about Riddle. I think there's some other airdrops coming. All these are using a snapshot, which is going to be latest. So the biggest one, which I'm excited about, is Verbly. So let's go to verbly.io. It's a chain. It's a private chain. We do a video on various forks of EOS. And if you watched our video here, it was we covered Verbly. And these guys are actually trying to bridge the financial world gap. It's almost like what other blockchains have tried to do previously, but as you know that there are limitations always in what you can do with Bitcoin or any other platforms. Now, EOS is a great platform to create a kind of a financial applications, and Verbly is trying to go and be compliant so that they can be regulated if needed, or actually not really regulated, but they can be approved by regulatory authorities, and they can do much more standard things like processing cards, by trading commodities, and they can also offer banking services. So that's what they're looking for. And it's a very ambitious project. The good thing is they're taking a snapshot in early September, and they're not using Genesis snapshot. And this is, by the way, this is not an airdrop on EOS. They are creating their own token. So you need to understand that it is not an EOS airdrop. It's a chain which is a sister chain which will be launching. They will provide a very, very cheap accounts if you want to directly participate in Verbly and own accounts and do apps. And the second part will be that they are going to give every EOS token holder 1:1 airdrop, and that will be based on your current account balance and not on your Genesis snapshot. So that is another reason. If you're buying more tokens, please move them into your wallets. And of course, so you should stake them for voting benefits, for bandwidth and CPU benefit. So that, and also in future when the Rex comes along, you want your tokens to be staked. What are the other questions, guys? So let's look at it. Are you still strong on Everipedia? I think Everipedia is a good project. I don't know exactly if you're talking about the Everipedia token itself. It will take time because it's still early days in the DApp. And I've not spent a lot of time on Everipedia, to be frank, because there are so many new exciting things happening. I'm hoping that they're a strong team. They're a pretty good team. So I believe they must be making good progress. What I understand is that they did launch their EOS-based token mechanism, because originally it was, even though they announced it and they had distributed IQ token, as a new user, you were not able to earn IQ tokens by contributing. Now I think that the system is in place, which is a great progress. So I think these kind of big projects take time to really get smooth out and operationally work in a nice way. So I think that's what is taking time. But now that everything is working, I think people will realize the power of Wikipedia, because I still think the concept is still one of the best. Because Wikipedia has flaws, they can be censored, and it's a very, very strong technology they're trying to build. So yes, I'm strong on Wikipedia, but in short term, if you're looking for token perspective, the IQ token, yeah, it is going to struggle, because in general, I think even EOS is struggling. As you know, the token price is not one of the, it has one of the lowest times for alt market. So it's mostly speculation, right? Means most of these technologies, they're already huge market cap. You're talking about billions of dollars based on a promise. So of course, we all are bought into the idea of blockchain, but if you compare with traditional stock market or valuations for a company, billions of dollar market cap is too huge. And even the small projects, which are the airdrops and all, they are start getting millions of dollar valuation, which is actually because of the hype. So right now the hype cycle is going down. We are kind of in a bear market. So you cannot say that this token prices will start going up. What we can say is the technology is strong, just like we believe in EOS. I think Wikipedia is a pretty strong technology and a concept. So that's what matters. All right. So there's another question. When is their mainnet launch? I'm assuming you're talking about Verbally. So Verbally mainnet launch, I believe, is September 14th or September 20th, sometime in the middle of September. So that's when they're launching. I have a few hundred EOS tokens. Should I stake all in gray mass? I would say yes, unless you're planning to utilize your tokens. For example, we kept a few liquid tokens, like 5 tokens or 10 tokens for buying nights. We want to experiment with dApps where you actually can spend EOS. So whatever you want to keep liquid, you want to bet on these apps or whatever you want to do with them, you can keep that much amount liquid, but everything else should be staked. Why it should be staked? Because it keeps your tokens safe. Remember, the whole idea of staking is that the tokens which are staked, for example, right now we have this 22 and 9 tokens which are staked in our account. These tokens are safe because if somebody has to gets control of our keys, they steal our keys, then if they unstake it goes into refunding, and I can monitor this on a daily basis or once or twice a week, and I will see that, oh, somebody refunded. And also because EOS authority has an email alert, if anybody is unstaking your tokens, you will get an alert, and now you can go and try to save your tokens. So that's why I think everybody should keep most of their tokens staked to just for the safety. But if you really want to recover them, then I would say that you need to change your active key. That's a little bit of an advanced step. We did talk about it in one of the videos on what you should do if you are looking for changing your active key. So be careful, just learn about it when you do it, but make sure that you keep your tokens staked. That's the best way to keep your tokens safe. What other questions? Where in gray mass? Okay, so I think if you go and watch our latest video, it's a 5-minute video, some interesting facts about staking and unstaking. And that's the best place for you to learn. We talk about the various aspects around staking, and we also showed you a demo of how to stake and unstake. What do you think Dan will... Okay, so first of all, Lawrence has a couple of questions. Let me say, what do you think of China CCID rating? So I think CCID, and they are mostly a research institute. They are put some professors together, and those guys, like there's one Stanford guy, some China University guys, and they are just evaluating on a basic criteria like technology adoption and so on. And I think you and me all know that it's very obvious that EOS is number one, because we know that EOS is one of the best technology in blockchain space. That's why all of us are here. We are forming this EOS community. We are talking to each other because EOS is, we all believe in EOS. So I'm not surprised that when you look at a pure technology perspective, pure adoption perspective, EOS should be rated number one, because that is the strength of the technology and the way it is defined to be scalable, to really be fast blockchain with no fee and so on. And that gives it the scale which it deserves. And so that's my view. I think it's not a surprise to me that EOS is number one. It's a great thing that they are recognizing it. But I don't think anything more to it, because it's just a research institute. It's a kind of a set of professors sitting somewhere doing an analysis and claiming that it is number one. Now, how does it influence? I hope that it influences in terms of investments, in terms of creating hype in China, maybe some adoption, some kind of confirmations from Chinese government that yes, they need to support the blockchain projects. Unfortunately, right now, China is again cracking down on cryptos. We see the news around they are actually banning even the crypto meetings, like which is a very strange way of cracking down. So what we are hearing, the latest rumor is that you cannot host crypto events, and they're making it illegal to host crypto events or something like that. So it's pretty confusing what is happening in China, but I think that's what we are hearing, and CCID rating it number one is nothing more than an academic project. So what do you think Dan will announce in London next month? Nobody knows, but I think we know all the ideas he has talked about. Definitely, I think they are going to announce the wallet, because he has hinted many times that any service which Block.one launches will come with a free account creation tool, and he has already shared some details about it, that it will be iOS or macOS based tools which can use the secure enclave of iOS, that makes sure that your keys are secure. They can use biometrics like your face detect or a fingerprint detect to validate that it's only one person, one account. Those kind of things, I think, is a good idea, which is needed when you're giving free accounts, so that it's not misused. Of course, whenever something they come out with, you can always criticize. I think people are already debating why iOS, why not Android, and so on. So there will always be something lacking, but I think it's exciting progress if they come up with that. I think they're talking about social media, which Dan has talked for a long time. They've talked about decentralized exchange from EOS. So a lot of things they have talked about. So it will be interesting to see what they really announce, or whether they announce anything at all. What else, guys? So let's look at other questions. EOS on Coinbase or fiat pairing? Again, these are a speculation. Let's not get into that. I'm sure EOS will get listed more and more places. So one thing which happened is EOS got listed on Poloniex last month, and I think that is a good move, because Poloniex is now acquired by Goldman Sachs. So I think EOS will get more attention because of that. But Coinbase, again, it's all speculation. I don't know what they will list. What else? EOS need mass adoption to do extraordinary good work. So wallet creation option should be free to grow more mass adoption. What do you think? I have talked about it many times. You are looking for free accounts. I agree, but free accounts can be misused, because accounts are resources. You need RAM. You need to run. You need to occupy some space on blockchain. Remember, EOS is a free blockchain. You do not want to to keep your transactions free. You cannot start allocating your resources freely, which cost money. RAM is a pretty significant resource, because all the block producers have to maintain that RAM physically, and giving out accounts free is not a great idea. Already the accounts are pretty cheap now, as they should be. $1 for an account by links, or maybe even if you create your account directly, you don't pay more than $3 or $4. And those accounts can be used across apps. All you need, every person on this earth needs one account, ideally. And that one account can be used for any dApp, for lifelong free transactions. And now for that, if you can't pay $1 or a couple of dollars, of $3 or $4, that is, I don't think you need to use the blockchain in that case. You don't value blockchain enough. And if you do see the benefit of EOS with lifelong free transactions, and only by staking, and actually you're not really spending EOS when you're using blockchain, and that's why you need to at least pay something, so that there is no misuse of people coming in who really don't want to use EOS. So that's my view. So I'm not in favor of free accounts, but because Block.one has raised a lot of money, they can use their funds to give free accounts. So I don't mind that if Dan Larimer comes out with an app where they are doing free accounts. But again, as Dan has mentioned, and I agree with him, that they would like to make sure that it is a link to a person in some way, Of course, they don't want to create a database of it, but at least using some security measure, they want to make sure that people are not creating hundreds of accounts for free. And this is a very valuable resource. People can sell accounts. As you know, there is already a exchange for trading accounts. Like you can hog onto some names. People are doing that trading already. They've created some nice names, and you can always sell them. So you don't want to create, while you want to add people with free accounts, you do not want to create speculators market again, where people buy free accounts and then they sell it later for profit. And that's not what the blockchain is designed for. We want more and more actual adoption and not speculation. So what else? Once EOS is registered and staked, do we get all the airdrops? No. Airdrops is a very specific to projects. So you need to understand. Uh, airdrop is actually giving out you free goodies by a new project. And why are they giving you? They are giving you free tokens because of two reasons. Either they're trying to raise money because they are giving you free airdrop. You're getting valued by listing on exchange based on your belief that that app is good, and you assign a value to that, and you are willing to buy it on exchange after the airdrop and buy and sell it. And they keep some tokens to themselves, and that's how they raise money with airdrops. That is one thing. The second thing is some apps which are creating a token as a utility token. They want to give airdrops to people to join their apps, to use their app. If you need that token, they're just distributing for free to get you started, and you get hooked on to do their app. So these are a few reasons why airdrops are done. So airdrops is not your right if you're on a blockchain. Now, Ethereum has been successful for quite some time. There are like thousands and thousands of airdrops, not really airdrops, but ICOs, which were done on Ethereum. Of course, there are airdrops also. There was an airdrop model on Ethereum. Now, people bought those with millions of dollars. Like every project raised millions of dollars on Ethereum. Those are the coins based on Ethereum. Now, right now, means if EOS, people have just assumed that every airdrop should be free. So that, and it should come to you based on your tokens. Now, that is not a right. That was a good model, because either the project is raising money, which is without going through the actually raising money from like ICO. That was a good model only if it suits your app. And it's up to the app developer to decide whether they want to do that airdrop. The second part is, for example, Tribe. Let's take an example of Tribe. So they have very nicely explained. Okay, where is the Tribe? So they have explained why they are not giving tokens to the Genesis snapshot. And I kind of agree with that, because for them, it is not really adding any value. If you are a user with a million token on EOS, on Genesis snapshot, that is not adding value to Tribe app. They want real people who are contributing, who are actually interacting with their app, because it's a media steam it kind of an app. And that is what their model is. So they are giving tokens for people who sign up, people who are actually contributing by adding articles, people who are rating the articles, who are liking the articles, people who are really expanding their ecosystem. And that's how they are giving tokens right now. And that is a great way of creating value for themselves, creating equity for themselves. Why should you get token if you're not bought into the idea, if you're not using that app? So that's my view. Of course, a lot of people like got free tokens, and you're only an investor. But I think crypto market is all about adoption. It's a social experiment. It's not a stock market. Don't look at it. And that's why most of the projects, most of the airdrops which came in early on, many of them are not even moving ahead. They are not even doing anything. Do you really want those all kind of coins which are lying in your wallet and they are not really getting adopted? They're not really making progress. Those are usually totally waste lying in your account. That is not what we want from a successful blockchain. We want successful projects. We want people to come and participate. And that's how these tokens will be valuable. What are the other questions? I really hope any dApps block 1 develops, EOS holders gets airdrops. That's right. I think I agree on that aspect, that if block.1, because they raised a lot of money and they are developing apps, and that is one thing you need to understand. Every PDA, they give you free airdrops while it's a great project. Even without participating in IQ or actually contributing on every PDA, they gave you free airdrop. And because they raised money outside, and they are rewarding EOS token holders because they are supported by Block.one. They are supported by EOS VC fund. So if you know that Everypedia raised $30 million from EOS VC fund, that's a good way. I think that those kind of airdrops, yes, I agree that we should get, all of us should get 1:1 airdrop and some kind of equity, because those are from the funds, from the EOS VC fund, which is kind of contributed by EOS token holders. But I do not agree that a new dApp, which is developed by the EOS community or by people who are trying to use EOS blockchain, I don't think that is necessarily needed to be airdropped unless they have a reason, unless they are trying to raise funds. So it depends on the model, and that's what I just wanted to clarify. Okay, so what else? Where do you recommend to create new account? I think there are many ways you can create new account. If you're a brand new account, you can go and create it. We did a video on my EOS toolkit. So if you're paying for your own account, please watch our video. I think it was a few days back. I can highlight it here in our channel. Yeah, this is the video, EOS account creation for newbies all by yourself. Do watch this video. I have shown you, if you have EOS tokens in an exchange, you can do it. Or if you have already another account where you have tokens, you can use this method. Then, of course, the other thing we talked about is EOS Link. The EOS Links is giving you accounts for $1. So you can do that. There are many ways you can create your account. And then there was a GEOS. I think that also we did a long time back when early on the accounts came. So this is the one. I think the buy your EOS account. So this is, you can watch this video. So there are a lot of places we have already covered. So if you're on our channel, you can search this information and you should be able to create your new account. Then we have another question here. Are there any other tokens other than EOS that you're involved in? So we do have a lot of discussions on our channel. I'm personally, yes, I'm invested in more than EOS. But that is not the topic we discuss in this community. This is mostly focused on EOS. But I think, yes, we, as an investor, you always look for other opportunities, and I do invest in other coins, if you're asking that question. All right, guys. So I think it was a great interaction, some good questions. So please keep them going. If you have any other things on EOS, we have some good progress, as I said. I'm kind of getting excited about the adoption now. If you look at the EOS network, because of these great apps which are coming, for example, the EOS Nights, like EOS Bet, EOS Bingo. EOS Bingo is very popular. People are playing bingo using EOS tokens. EOS Dice, I think, I'm not able to load that right now, but EOS Dice is another game which is getting very popular, I see. And if you see, earlier we used to have like 0 transactions at a continuous rate. Right now we are not hitting 0 because a lot of people are really interacting. While we had a peak of almost 4,000 transactions per second, but look at this, we are hitting consistently 5 to 6 transactions per second every block. Now that there are no empty blocks, a lot of people are really using EOS. These are not spam transactions, these are real EOS activity. And as I highlighted earlier, Bitcoin and Ethereum, these are the kind of transaction we are seeing on a sustained basis. Bitcoin and Ethereum, they see them as a peak transaction. Like Bitcoin, 5 FPS, 5 transactions per second is peak. And we are seeing that all the time right now. And this is what we need to focus on. EOS is really getting adopted. I'm not talking about this peak transactions, because peak is more of a test. It's more of a spam they do, or they're just trying to check the robustness of the system. I'm talking about the real transactions which are happening on a sustained basis, which is great. And I think that is something which we should be focusing on. It's a great time. You will very soon, once the staking mechanism come into place where you get rewarded for stakes, the liquidity will dry out. EOS will start moving up very soon, independent of rest of the market. So if you have not bought all you wanted, I'm telling you, this is a great moment. Of course, I'm not giving you financial advice, so you have to manage your own risk. What I'm trying to highlight is, today, because of all the bear market and the way EOS price has gone down, I am really excited about what's going to happen with EOS very soon. So there's a question about explain single-threaded versus side chains. So I don't know exactly what you mean by that. So there are a couple of things. One thing is single-threaded versus multi-threaded. So multi-threaded is a change in software. So if you know, most of the CPUs today, like even your phone, has multiple cores. Your CPU can run multiple threads in parallel. Unfortunately, today the EOS software is single threaded. That means you cannot do multiple transactions in parallel. It's going to be very complex because remember, it's a blockchain. Blockchain is by nature a single threaded serial order mechanism. So, but as you remembered, if you have read the white paper, Dan Larimer has talked about implementing a multi-threaded EOS architecture, and that is definitely in pipeline. So that is going to, what that will give you is that will give you a better capability to run more transaction per second. So it will increase the capacity of the system. That's what single threaded versus multi-threaded means. Now, side chains is a totally different concept. Side chains mean you have a parallel framework. You're running not the mainnet, you're running a totally new chain, which is going to get validated using the same token. And you will just have certain, like, not every block has to go into mainnet, but after a few maybe seconds, I don't know the frequency, but you can design based on the model they're going to design. So you will make sure that you're using the mainnet to validate your side chain, and it is running the same kind of token economics, but it will be freeing up resources. And that's what many of the other side chains are doing. But some of them, like us, you can call them forks or sister chains, we talked about in one of the videos recently. That is this EOS forks and side chains. Most of these are not actually side chains. They are actually we should correct this. These are actually sister chains, you can call them, or forks, because they are creating their own tokens. Telos, Verbally, they are creating their own tokens, and those are not really side chains, but they are kind of using the EOS software. They are trying to match up to what EOS is doing. So that's how it works. And I think this is what you need to really understand. So EOS is going to scale up within itself, within EOS, by using multi-threading, by using side chains. And then there will be scaling up using sister chains, where there will be other systems created like Telos, Verbally, and there will be hundreds of them. Means by the time EOS is successful, I'm sure there will be a lot of people. For example, when you launch a new app which is very active, like for example, if you are trying to do a Facebook kind of an app, or if you're trying to do a very, very active app where there are millions of transactions happening on a single app, you don't want to run it on mainnet. You want to run it as a side chain, even if you're using EOS token. So because you don't want to grab all the resources, or it will be very expensive to run it, because you will have to own almost all the EOS to be able to run it on mainnet. So it's impossible to run that. And that's what some people are creating FUD around it by saying, oh, it's very expensive to run on EOS. Because EOS is valuable because of technology, and you do not want to use the whole mainnet to run one app. You want thousands of apps running on EOS. And if your app needs more resources, more network, more bandwidth, or more CPU, you need to create a side chain, and you need to create your own token economics. So that's how it will work. All right, so what are your thoughts on difference in coin development on EOS in comparison with Ethereum? I don't know what you mean here. Are you talking about the economics part? Are you talking about development part, the coding part? There are a lot of differences because, of course, as I said, EOS token economics is very different than Ethereum. Ethereum is gas-based. It's a proof of work. EOS is free transactions. It's a delegated proof of stake. Technology is different. In terms of development, the coding way is different. I think everything is pretty different. So I'm not sure exactly what you're looking for, but I hope you got the idea. So, but I think what I can tell you is, because of the scalability of EOS, because of the technical advancements which EOS provides, you see a lot more people who are now jumping from Ethereum to EOS. And every day we are seeing more and more developers jumping from Ethereum to EOS. We are seeing more and more projects which are jumping from Ethereum to EOS. So that's what I'm seeing on a daily basis. All right, guys. So I think I'm running out of time very soon. So if you have questions, please send them my way right now, and we will spend another 5 minutes. When do you see the mass adoption happening in EOS? I think mass adoption depends on quality of apps. As I said, I'm kind of getting excited already about the quality of apps. Of course, its easiest ways to engage people is by gaming, and that is what is already happening. The other ways, of course, we need real apps like messengers, like social media. As I said, I'm really excited about what is happening with Tribe, because these are, if you remember, Steemit was one of the most popular blockchain, and it's really it was a working prototype of of a kind of a social media, and it's really still working. It's still the best blogging site for crypto world, and Tribe is trying to create that on EOS. So, and they have very good interface and so on. So I don't think it's a bad thing. Adoption is already happening. And as I said, the games like EOS Nights, the EOS Dice, EOS Bets, EOS uh, Bingo, so many of them I see every day, and people are really participating. Yes, it's a niche area, as you need an EOS account. So mostly right now we are living in the bubble of EOS, and we are seeing adoption within that bubble. So if you're talking about mass adoption in the sense that everybody who doesn't understand blockchain to adopt it, I think that will take time because of the tools to be developed and so on. But you need to understand that Steemit is not only used by crypto world. Steemit is used by people who have very limited understanding of blockchain. All they know is that they contribute and they earn money. And I think those are the potential areas I think we will start seeing soon. But in long run, if you want to get to a level where nobody needs to know anything about blockchain and to completely abstract out the blockchain in the background, that will, I think, we at least it's a 1 to 2 year away, or maybe more, depending on how this progress happens in terms of technology. What I can tell you is EOS has the technology to enable it. Till now, we did not have the technology to enable it. So it's early days. We are just bootstrapping this. It's only like a 2.5 month old, this blockchain. And once we have more progress, we will see mass adoption automatically. What are the question? Has EOS already sold all the Ethereum raised during ICO? I have no idea about that. Greymass. So let me quickly do a rapid fire now because I'm running out of time. Greymass or Scatter or both? I'm using both. So Greymass for holding my tokens, for transferring tokens, Scatter for interacting with dApps. Of course, we are waiting for B1 wallet. Are you concerned at all by the way block producers don't agree necessarily with Dan's proposal of removing worker proposal fund? What are your thoughts? So I'm not concerned. I think it's a good thing. It shows that EOS is decentralized, that block producers are not agreeing, and Dan does not have a control over what really happens on the chain. So that's a positive side of it. But in terms of what will happen, so I think there has to be a debate. There has to be a community-based decision, a referendum, and that will really be great for EOS and to prove to the world that EOS is not centralized. Where do we see the list of all the dApps on EOS? I think there are a lot of projects which are starting. Let me not get into that because it's very difficult to highlight to you at one place. You just need to be involved in the community, and the successful dApps are automatically gaining attention in Telegram channels, all the places people are using. One way to use that is to track the EOS transactions and so on. But it's a good question. I think I'll have to think about it. I don't know of any good source. Do you feel that the market ability to short EOS is hurting the price? I think yes or no. I would say that overall market is down. Shorting sometimes helps the price because when the price moves up, the short covering happens and the price moves up very fast. I think it definitely adds to the volatility of the price. I don't know if it is consistently keeping the price down. But yes, it does impact the volatility. When the price goes down, it goes down very fast. When it goes up very fast. But these things automatically take care of themselves. So if you know that most of the stock market, most of the commodity markets, you can always short this kind of things, and they are pretty stable after some time. It takes years and years of trading and bigger volumes to stabilize these things. I personally am not a big fan of these advanced instruments. Of course, as a trader, I do take part in it. I do benefit or from it. But as a wealth of to really benefit, I don't think we need these kind of tools. I have talked about Bitcoin ETFs and Bitcoin futures earlier in other videos, and I'm not really sure that crypto world is the right place. Still, we see bigger volumes from retail, from other places. It's going to create more volatility, and that's hurting some small investors who do not understand it. They are gambling with their money. As long as you understand derivatives, as long as you understand what you're doing, these are great tools to make money or lose money. But for an average investor, I don't think it's going to impact much in the long term. What is going to matter in EOS token price will be the liquidity. That means right now people don't understand the value of staking. people are not understanding, like there are no rewards for staking, so there's a lot more liquidity. Once that gets sucked out of the market, the token economics will come into picture, and that will really drive the price for EOS. All right, so this is all I had. So I think I'm running out of time now, guys. It was a great discussion. Thanks for all of you to join. We had some really good questions today, and we talked about a lot of various topics. So we will close this video now. Do watch our channel. I think we are posting a lot more content these days. As I said, if you have not seen the videos, do understand staking and staking. Do take action and air grab your tokens. Many of these projects are interesting. Some, I'm sure 80% or 90% of tokens will be useless, but you'd never know which token becomes big. Like Tribe can become Steemit. What about other things? So do not miss out on this. So we have, please watch this video, and there are links below to on a step-by-step thing you need to do. Especially Tribe, you need to sign up. So we have a referral link in this video, and also on I think the EOS ecosystem. So we have to, in multiple videos we have posted this link. Please go sign up for Tribe. Please do air grabs. Of course, you need to set up your scatter. So do those things. And I think we have really put a lot, like when we talk about this action needed video, do watch it, and you have in the description we have put all the details of what you need to do. So do not miss out on this. Do stake your tokens. And finally, again, I keep repeating, please update your proxy, refresh your proxy. It's a very, very easy thing to do, and it takes 10 seconds on gray mass to refresh your proxy. And we want you to really impact this ecosystem to participate. If you don't have time, just you can assign proxy to us. Otherwise, do your research, do vote, and that's what we recommend. But of course, I understand many of you do not have time to research. We are doing our job. As I said, I'm in Korea. I'm meeting not just English-speaking block producers. So we are already connected very well as a group with a lot of block producers who watch our channel, or who are whom I'm connected with personally in the English-speaking countries like US, UK, Australia, and so on. But I'm trying to reach out to other regions. And right now, as I said, I'm in Korea. I'm going to continue connecting with more and more areas and block producers to make sure that we are very well connected with the EOS community. And that is how we will make the system strong. We have to make it a global phenomenon. We do not want it to be concentrated in one place, or we want to. It helps in regulatory ways. It helps in keeping the system secure. And there are a lot of contributions we are seeing from all over the world. And EOS is so exciting that you see, like once you go and meet these people, you realize that there's so much passion around this project, and people understand the technology. And I think the biggest three communities are, of course, in US, UK, Australia, in English-speaking countries, and the other two are China and Korea. These are the two huge communities, and I'm trying to break through and trying to connect as well. And that is one of the things which we are doing as a proxy. So if you don't, people who are not sure whom to vote for, you can recommend them to our proxy. But we do recommend you to vote yourself and participate in the system, because just very soon there will be EOS referendums where you have to vote. You need to really make differences in the decision-making process, and that's how we create a community-driven, ground-up project, and not a centralized projects like what we are seeing right now. So thanks again for joining, and we really love talking to you. So we will keep doing more live shows, and do keep sending your feedback. Join our Telegram channel. So if you go to our YouTube page, we are having a lot of discussions on Telegram. We are having a lot of discussion general. So Facebook page is more like general crypto page. It's not EOS specific, but the Telegram group is EOS specific. And so please join using those links and participate in our community. Thank you once again. Bye for now. It's always great to talk to all of you.